Why would you want to regulate nervous system? Okay, basically that thing that I said about overreacting or having an improportional reaction to certain events, feeling as though your life is in danger or that you're threatened in situations that you may not actually be threatened by, and having a full-on fear or stress response occur or a real shutdown response occur. Okay, so if that's happening in your life, I'm just going to open my car, it's a bit warm. Good God. If that is, sorry about that, if that is happening in your life, you can only imagine a very easy example in a workplace or in a relationship. If you're having extreme reactions to things that are maybe not real problems, maybe irritations, you might get into conversations or conflicts in your workplace that create disharmony, create discomfort, and ultimately lead to perhaps things not going so well in that workplace environment or in the way you would like, because there's a constant reaction and triggered state in you, causing you to show up, make choices or not make choices in ways that don't positively influence how you operate in that environment. And this is exactly the same as relationships. So you could have a previous trauma of heartbreak, abandonment, betrayal, um, and this goes into, upbringing, having emotional traumas growing up in environments that were unsafe for a myriad of different reasons, and then you get into a relationship that is actually relatively healthy but does trigger off some of those core wounds. And your nervous system, if it has unresolved trauma or a lot of reactivity in it, and then we could go into subconscious beliefs that impact us as well, but if you have that going on in your nervous system, and say for example, with an abandonment fear or wound or reactivity, something happens in a relationship that triggers off this deep fear, this primal fear of abandonment. The way that you respond to that fear of abandonment could operate in many ways. Some people run away, some people latch on really hard, some people create chaos, and test their partner and create dynamics that become unhealthy because they're desperately trying to prevent or soothe themselves out of that really horrific fear of abandonment. Some people can be really intense. So, learning how to calm yourself down if those triggers come up. And then we could also talk about the topic of changing your subconscious beliefs so those triggers start to be cleared. But that's another topic. Something I'm very interested in, but this is separate from this conversation. Learning how to calm your system down. So, for example, if that abandonment wound gets triggered and you go in the direction of chasing, running, whoo, towards the thing, grasping, that, imagine being on the other side of that in a relationship where you, maybe something's happened, you need a bit of space to process, and your partner is cannot give you space because this person with the abandonment wound is so frightened of having that experience of being abandoned, or that fear coming up, or of loss, or whatever is that fear is, that they kind of just almost smother the person, or just don't leave, don't go, let me somehow create connection with you again. And that doesn't give this other person who needs a bit of space to process the time to process. That other person tries to get more space so they can process, which triggers even more abandonment in this person with this abandonment fear, and they chasing more, and this other person, I just need space to process it. You're like, but you're still chasing me. Whereas if you learn, as this person with the abandonment wound, how to relax your nervous system and soothe yourself out of that fear of abandonment, you're going to be able to calm down, create trust and safety in your body, balance everything out, process any fears and emotions, connect with the reality that's going on, more than likely have the mental clarity to see this person, your partner, in a situation and go, oh, something's come up. This person needs a bit of space to process, and more than likely, in lots of cases, will continue to reform that safe closeness together. That's just one example. And obviously, the example of the workplace, being able to calm yourself down, it's going to give you the mental clarity, the emotional stability to make choices that benefit whatever your intentions are. Gosh, my throat. whatever your intentions are within your career, within your workplace, or within whatever space you're operating in. So, one of the benefits.